All right. How's it going, everyone? Welcome. Welcome back to Chill Reading. How's it going? Hey, Turtle King. Hey, Small Fungi. Hey, Sergeant Gamer. Hey, Nyan the Cartoon. Glitch Crown. Hey, Joshua. Hey, Yuck the Joker. Hey, Plushie. Hey, Sophia. Hey, Skello. Meredith. Is he the Fae? How are things going today, Phil? Things are going great. I recently managed to upgrade my temporary setup so I can do streams more easily. Even though I'm on my laptop, I actually managed to get a second monitor for my laptop. It's a smaller monitor than the ones that I'm used to, but it's like perfect for doing temporary streams in the place that I'm at right now. Hey Mikudayo. Hey Non-Creative. Hey Caleb. Hey Nightlight. Hey Nano Abyss. What number is this? Of like chill readings? According to the YouTube playlist, this is the 6th one, I think? It's definitely one of the most popular series on the channel. Something that the members have like actually voted for, coming back like time and time and time again, and I really enjoy doing them, so I'm glad. This is a space for me to like just be able to talk to people and just not have to scream like 24/7. Perfect for like chill evenings or like nights where like I just want to relax and not like have to worry about anything else. Hey Tori, quick question. Does the Toxic Lounge sell any snacks? Peanuts, chips, anything? Well, there's a snack machine like right by the entrance if you want to take a look at those. Other than that, it's mostly drinks. It's really nice to just vibe sometimes. Exactly, Izzy. I mean, I'm usually, you know, the toxic streamer that like has like, whoa, look at that reactions to like cool stuff. A lot of people enjoy watching me react to like Indie Cross or like the Game Awards or like the Nintendo Switch presentations where I lose my mind. Usually those tend to be like some of the highest viewed streams on the channel. People like to have this environment where like they just want to react to something they like together. And I totally understand that. It's nice to feel that sense of community, I suppose. But you can also have that by just sitting around in a small, comfy place and just share a story or two with other people, you know? Hey, Hayden San. Oh shit, what up, Phil? Looking forward to this since I worked customer service for 2.5 years. You know, I was a little bit split when I was planning out for this stream. If you are one of the... Ooh, oh my god, thank you, Michael, for buying Cinder's Pyro Power with code TOXIC at Gamersubs. Did you do that on purpose, Michael? Oh boy. Are you aware of the situation with Cinder? I don't know about that purchase, boy. I don't know about that one. Whatever. Hi Phil, hi Rusty. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah. I was a little bit split on this stream because I had two options for this. I could either cover like creepy stories, like actual scary stories from retail employees, like, ooh, I saw a ghost and during my night shift and then it bit my ass. Or I could cover like retail hell stories of like people working retail and like encountering weird customers, or like customers that are really unreasonable. I made a poll before the start of the stream for people to choose what they want to see, and honestly, it was a pretty good, like, 50-50. So, I'm titling the stream Disturbing Retail Horror Stories, because I think I'm just gonna read whichever one pops up the most, you know? Hey, Isan, thank you for the super chat. Hello, dude, how's it all going? Oh, I'm doing great. I'm just chilling, you know, like we always have like this 15 to 20 to sometimes like 30-minute span at the beginning where we just like chill and talk about whatever before getting into the main topic of the stream. Amptlu says, retail hell is either boo-hoo funny or funny. Yep. Coden says, my mom used to work at customer service at Walmart. I'm kinda glad that she quit because whenever she visits, I see her with dark bags under her eyes. I thought she had makeup problems. Well, hey small fun guy, thank you for the 12 months. As a retail worker, I'm scared shitless, regardless of the two topics I can imagine. Well, I'm here to share on the scary shit pans because some of you might know I was actually also a retail worker when I was younger. I needed to, like, when I was in college, I think when I was around, like, I don't know, like 18, 19, like teenager Phil, you know? The worst kind of Phil. I used to be a retail worker at my local Walmart, and oh boy, it was not a fun experience. I don't think I got the worst of it though, but I worked at the electronics section of my local Walmart, and the amount of stupid fucking customers that would demand you fix their issue, even though you're not a repairman, you're just here to sell the product, was endless every single day. Hey Dandy Rebel, thank you for the 33 months. 33 months, yippee! I got my first ever shiny Pokemon in my whole life yesterday. Ironically, it was a Goomy, squishy little boy. Hell yeah, Dandy Rebel. I think the first shiny that I ever found in a Pokemon game was a shiny Ponyta that I killed mercilessly. And the second one was when I was trying to shiny hunt with Kako, and I got a the bird from Emerald. I forgot the name of it. Chikorita? No, it wasn't Chikorita. The firebird, the fire chicken. You know, I forgot the name of it. I do apologize. Hey Kako, do you have a burger right now? No, I don't, Kako. Torchic, yes, I did get a Torchic. After only like 3 days of shiny hunting, I think. It was not a long time at all. Which is great, because I have very little patience. Hey Farface, thank you for the $5. I worked customer service in a tourist trap beach shop. The amount of people who didn't understand what a toilet was haunts me to this day. You know, the real retail horror stories is when they send you to clean up the toilets. Hayden Sand says, as I've said for a while, the average customer is stupid. Not in the corporate customers will buy anything way. Rather, they don't understand company policy, how things work, and we can't control it. The most frustrating part of retail is you, like, trying to help out as best as you can, but the customer not understanding that you're not God. And so they blame you for everything that goes wrong, even though you're just here. Like, you barely know more than the people you're talking to, you know? And so whenever there's like an old lady that just doesn't bother understanding what her phone does or the limits of her phone, she immediately just demands you fix it, quote unquote, fix it for her for free. You know? Even though, like, either that would take money to fix, or you legitimately don't know what's wrong with it, and she should probably take it to, like, an IT place. because you can't fix it for her and she demands you do it. Otherwise, she's gonna call the manager. Legitimately. Like, those jokes of like, I want to see your manager, those are not jokes. That's just the reality of retail workers. It's funny because it's true. Hey, Shady Art, thank you for the $2. Careful with these stories. They go south fast. Oh, I can imagine. I mean, we've read some pretty fucked up stories here in Chill Reading, so don't you worry about that. I'm expecting that, in fact. Hey, Dante Crystal, thank you for the 16 months. Food service is jump scare horror. Retail service is psychological horror. Oh, that's a good description. Dandeed Rebel says, the Goomy was my first ever Goomy I encountered in Legends Arceus, so it was a total 1 in 4,096 chance. That's a high goddamn chance, goddamn. I mean, low chance. I hate food service. The problem is, when you're like an introverted teenager, like, the most amount of jobs are going to be you dealing with customer service. That's like the #1 job, kind of almost designed for like teenagers. But if you're an introverted, shy motherfucker, like, that's the worst job for you. Hayden Sand says, while doing the service desk, customers would often ask to speak to a manager, and they'd often tell the customer the same thing I said. Yeah, cause we're not gods, you know? Hey, Welk Lord, thank you for the $4. Have you ever thought of making the insane Reddit story streams their own thing? Thought that would be more fitting since you laughing loudly kinda ruins the whole point of a chill stream. Not really. I want chill reading to be dedicated to the whole, you know, reading stuff out to people. I also just like the vibe of chill reading. I don't want to read stuff, like, out loud in a very violent way. Besides, I think it's funnier when, like, I'm not supposed to be laughing so much, yet the story is so goddamn stupid that it still manages to make me laugh anyway, you know? I think that gives it a little bit of more flavor, you know? Like, I'm supposed to be remaining chill, but the story is so goddamn stupid that it's breaking the character. Hey Nightlight, thank you for these 6 months. As a retail worker, it can really suck, but I feel that food service workers have it worse. Okay. You said that, and a lot of people are saying that on the chat, but you know who has it the actual worst, though? You know who are the ones that actually suffer the most when it comes to customer service? The poor people in phone helplines. The ones that have to talk to customers on the phone. Those people are basically living through torture 24/7 while they're doing their shifts. If you are someone currently, right now, looking for a job, I beg of you, it doesn't matter if you don't like talking to people on their faces. It doesn't matter if you would rather sit down on a desk and talk to someone over a phone. I promise you, please go into any other kind of customer service that isn't phone helplines. Phone helplines are full of the most OP, S-tier shitty customers that you will ever find. They are the kinds of people that will berate you, bully you, make fun of you, simply just for existing, and they don't have any consequence for it. Like, you can't really look upset, because, like, it's just a voice over the phone, so those people have way less of a, I guess I could say, like, humanity in them. They treat you so much like lesser human than you should be treated. They scream at you, they demand things from you constantly. They will make fun of you. Like, it is genuinely one of the worst jobs you could possibly have. Hayden Sand says, they have more confidence to be shitty since they're behind the phone. Yes. I promise you, if you are currently looking for a job or have to get a job somewhere, do it in any other place that is not a phone hotline or a call center. Those people are essentially sent there to die. In fact, I will go one step further on this, and this may be a little bit controversial. You know how those jobs are slowly being phased out by AI? Or like robots that like you're supposed to talk to on the phone? Even though I hate AI and I genuinely think that it shouldn't be taking jobs from people, having to deal with AI over the phone is at least a little bit more merciful than having to deal with a person. You know? I think that it's a mercy to replace those jobs with AI. The people that are working there should, obviously get jobs that are actually fulfilling for them, and they should be way better than them. But seriously, like, call center jobs seem to be like, please find something better than that. I beg of you. Your one and only donates $10 and says, "Not retail, but one time I was a QA tester for some game, and the developer didn't tell us when our first session would begin until the day it happened. I was on vacation. I thought it would begin next week. That is bullshit." QA jobs should have a structure. Like, you should not have to be testing whenever the developer wants to. It should be in a rigid schedule. That is super unprofessional. My condolences, your one and only. Thank you, Kaleidochrome, for the membership. My lack of personal retail horror stories is such a blessing, but it makes me so scared. Personally, Kaleido, I believe that everyone should have to go through retail hell. At the very least for 6 months. Like, if you are someone in your teenage years, I would think that it should be mandatory for you to have a retail job for at least 6 months. You should still get paid, obviously, but I think that everyone should experience the other side of the table so that there will be less shitty customers. So that people can get humbled. Yeah, exactly, small fungi. People should get humbled, and at the same time, they should be able to empathize with the workers on the other side. Azazel on the chat says, "Go retail for 6 months and then go to therapy for 6 years." I mean, a lot of people need therapy for a lot of different reasons, but yes, I think that it builds character. It may sound like very old out of me to say that, but sometimes you gotta learn what hell feels like so you can appreciate whatever your daily life is like, experience, I suppose. As long as the job is not literally actually abusive, I think that it should be something that people should experience. Is this the same thing as like climbing a mountain? You gotta do it at least once just to feel how it is. Or like going camping, There are things in a human, I think like every single human should experience at least once in their lives. Hey Diamond Soul, thank you for the $2. Speaking of AI, what are your thoughts on Fortnite AI Vader? The fuck are you talking about? I've been outside all morning. What are you genuinely talking about? Hold on, let me go look that up. I'm not insulting you, I'm just genuinely curious. AI Vader Fortnite. Like Fortnite the game? Fortnite's AI Vader can now speak to gamers. What? Epic is rushing to patch AI Death Vader slurs in Fortnite? Wait, excuse me? Wait a minute. Hold on a second. May 16th, 2025. Epic is rushing to patch AI Death Vader slurs in Fortnite. Epic Games made a risky decision and decided to introduce an AI Darth Vader character to Fortnite. Once players have managed to defeat the iconic Star Wars legend, Vader decides to join the squad and fight alongside those who best him. Oh no. Using in-game voice chat, you can talk to AI Vader, and some mischievous gamers have tried to use that for nefarious means. On social media, clips have surfaced of AI Vader saying some questionable things, with players finding exploits in his rule set and circumventing censorship applied by Epic. The gaming titan has been quick to hotfix these slips, but it's proving tricky. What the fuck? It took mere hours for players to jailbreak AI Darth Vader in Fortnite, pumping him full of tricks to make him say slurs and other ill-sounding phrases. In a clip shared on social media by Gas Bears, AI Darth Vader is tricked into uttering a homophobic slur, which earned a cacophonic reaction from those in the party. Oh, baby. I kind of want to play Fortnite. Never mind. No, it's okay. Oh, that's horrible, actually. Did they get the permission from, like... Wait, is this, like, just a generic, like... sounding Darth Vader? Or is this, like, the actual voice of the guy that voiced Darth Vader? Because I'm pretty sure that guy is dead, right? Like, the original Darth Vader voice actor is dead. Dead. Agent Draco says the actor gave permission before he died. Eclipse Durgan says they got permission from the family. Hey, Winterer. Hey, I've been looking forward to another reading stream. Hey, Winterer, we're currently reading about Darth Vader saying slurs in Fortnite. Sorry. We kind of derailed at the start of this one. Sorry. Yeah, apparently Epic introduced some kind of weird AI Darth Vader that you can talk to in the game, and now players are forcing him to say slurs, because of course. Octojoker says, I think James Earl Jones gave permission before he died. Oh, this is still so fucking slimy, though. Yeah, Darth Vader decided to become homophobic. That's why he's on the dark side. Hey. I understand that. You guys know that I've never watched anything Star Wars ever, by the way. I know who Darth Vader is, and I vaguely know the concept of Star Wars. I've never seen a Star Wars movie. I don't know anything about Star Wars. A lot of people get really mad when I say that, but it's just like, I've never been interested in the concept, so I've never watched any of the shows or movies. Most of my Star Wars knowledge and, like, my knowledge on the story of Star Wars is from, like, the Family Guy parody episode on Star Wars. That's how I know what happens on those movies, because I saw Family Guy clips of their Star Wars, like, parody episode. And also I saw some, like, gamer rants about how, like, the sequels are, like, the next coming of the Antichrist or something like that. I don't know, I'm not invested at all in Star Wars. Anyway, sorry for that tangent. Fuck AI. I really dislike that genuinely, though. It is kind of shitposty. My problem with the AI is that I know that it is objectively, like, a horrible thing that was introduced to the world that only takes, like, the specialness of artists and, like, creators away, and, like, rids, like, a lot of people from, like, actual creative jobs, because executives think that they can replace genuine artists with machines. and I think that is a horrible thing. But bad AI is really funny. Like, I wish that AI existed in a bubble so that it would not be profitable for any kind of actual serious endeavor. I genuinely wish that we could live in a world in which AI was absolutely useless for, like, creative media, but for shitposts, like, could be exclusively used for shitposts. Because AI shitposts are, like, genuinely fucking funny to me. I think it's because of the absurdity of it. Any of y'all seen that clip from VeggieTales? You know, like the one where, like, the tomato and the pickle are, like, in a sci-fi room, and, like, one of them says, like, in the future, comedy will be randomly generated. Randomly generated? Randomly generated! And then they show a robot just saying a joke that is completely nonsensical, and everyone laughs. I think they just kind of genuinely, like, predicted that, honestly, at least with AI memes. Hey, Angry Destroyer, thank you for the 19 months. AI grows, retail grows. Oh, speaking of retail, thank you for getting us back on topic, Angry Destroyer. Let me continue with the super chats. Thank you. Let's see. Thank you, your one and only, for the 15 months. To add on, we only did one session. After that, the guy basically stopped talking to us, and now he's doing some AI BS. God fucking damn it, everyone be talking about AI now on the chat. I mean, it's understandable I introduced the topic. I shouldn't really be complaining about it. Hey, Kaleidochrome, thank you for the $5. Haven't heard any stories yet, but I'm already grateful for my job at a bookstore. Learned the hard way that food jobs don't end well for me. I almost misread that, but thank you for the $5. Hey Tarkat, thank you for the super chat. AI Darth Vader became a Twitter user, no way. Thank you Sunny for the super chat, and thank you Angry Destroyer for the 19 months. Mr. Shu on the chat says, as an artist, I miss when generative AI exclusively made incomprehensible mush. And not just because it was less threatening, but also because it had an actual use in visualizing eldritch horror shit. I agree. I genuinely thoroughly agree with that sentiment. I think I also have AI on the brain, because I just got finished watching, like, Aya's video on Italian brain rot. You know, the tralalelo tralala, and the bombardillo crocodilo, and all those, like, weird, like, Italian brain rot animals. You know, before I saw that video, I got introduced to that topic through, like, toys that I saw at, like, an aisle in, like a store. Like, I saw a toy store that had, like, the shark with the Nike shoes and the weird stick guy. Like, I had no idea what those things were about. And then I saw the Oya video, and those got recontextualized for me. Because, like, I saw, like, figures and, like, plastic toys of the Tralalelo Tralala, and the Bombardillo Crocodilo, and the Stickman. I completely forgot the name of the Stickman. And I was like, what the fuck? Why do these look like AI-generated mascots? Turns out they were, actually. Holy moly, these sweatshops work fast. I mean, I'm pretty sure that they got, like, hundreds of people just, like, watching the trending pages of TikTok to, like, get the hottest memes to be able to, like, sell to people. Yeah, like, those got cranked out super fast. Hey Subboat, thank you for the $5. Hey Phil, I can't stay too long, I just wanted to say hi before I went to my grocery job. Oh, very, very topical. Also, I beat Super Mario World for the first time today. Hell yeah. That was, like, literally the first game I ever completed, like, on my own. My first like video game was like Super Mario World on the Super Nintendo. I helped my grandma beat it. Like we beat it together. It was like very wholesome. She still fondly remembers that game, and we like play it on like we play it like on the TV, like to reminisce about old times every now and then. She really likes that game. It's funny because like she bought like video game consoles for like her sons for like a very long time. She bought them like an Atari console. She bought them PCs, like desktop PCs. She bought them an NES. And then finally the last console that she ever bought and the last game that she ever played was Super Mario World on the Super Nintendo. And that was my first game ever. So it's like passing of the torch there. It's a nice memory like that I have with my grandma. Hey Jurl, thank you for the super chat. Hi Phil. Do you mind checking the fanart hashtags later? I finished a big hoodie design for 5 for fun. I don't know if you'll like it. Also, fuck AI. Fuck AI, hell yeah, Jurl. I'll check those tags later. I've been like kinda off the grid like this past week. I have not like been active much on Discord or like Twitter or YouTube. I've just been like doom scrolling through my Twitter timeline, but aside from that, I have not really checked out any comments or stuff from like my messages, because I've just been kind of overwhelmed with like people reaching out to me the past couple of weeks. I'll probably come back to check on those in a few days or something. Depends, I'm just kind of chilling out, you know? I recommend that for anyone that is currently like overwhelmed with life. Sometimes it's okay to just withdraw a little bit and have some time for yourself, especially socially. If you are like very tired or like have a lot of like, if you feel like you have a lot of responsibility on your back, at the end of the day you have to understand that your life is your own and you should just step back a bit and relax if you feel overwhelmed. Life will continue to go on without you, but that's okay. Sometimes you just need to take a little bit of a breather, you know? Going outside and taking a nature walk, that also works, Meredith. Like, disconnecting yourself from the madness is okay. The world is not going to end just because you haven't checked like your feed like in a long time. Also, thank you, the Night Angel, for joining the Toxic Cesspit membership. Thank you so much. Alright, I think that covered up the prerequisite obligatory yapping session before we actually begin the stream. Though, before I do so, I do have to shill a little bit for you guys, but this is actually like a good kind of shilling, because I need to inform you guys that currently we have free shipping on gamersubs.gg/toxic. If you are someone that has bought some tubs of Gamersubs using my code in the past, and you have been hurt from the shipping prices, like the cost of shipping, if you're someone outside of the US, for example, and we're like flabbergasted by the ridiculous shipping prices of Gamersubs, I recommend that you go to gamersubs.gg/toxic and use the code TOXIC to get free shipping on literally anything on the store, plus 10% off. I'm saying this because like I'm obviously I'm shilling, but it's also like beneficial for you, because I understand that most people like just can't handle shipping prices, especially nowadays with the tariffs and shit. The US has been very mean about tariffs, so please make sure to check out the store and see if you have anything that you would like to try out. Free shipping, if you're like in Chile, for example, is literally like 50 to 60 bucks of like savings. Because shipping to like South America is so expensive for Gamersubs. It costs more than the actual product, you know? And I can understand why people would not like to do that usually. But now, from... let me check. Hold on a second. Let me check how long this lasts, because there's a limited window for this. Yeah, from the 16th of May to the 23rd of May, we have free shipping on anything on the store if you want to try it out. Not obligatory, obviously, but I genuinely do recommend you get some gamer subs. My favorite flavor is guacamole gamer fart for real. It has like the perfect balance of like sweetness and sourness. Even though the name is fucking stupid, it's still one of my favorite flavors. And I am still awaiting for my shipment to get more flavors in my mouth. Because once again, Chilean shipping costs a lot. And they're assholes when it comes to like import costs as well. Yeah. Sorry for the shilling session, but I just had to say that to make sure that if anyone is interested, go to gamersubs.gg/toxic and get free shipping and 10% off of anything on the store. I will never get used to that name. Yep. Skello on the chat says, fun story about the walk talk, actually. I went for one before the chill reading stream started. It was pretty refreshing. The air was nice and breezy too. Hell yeah. Now it's time for retail. Like the real retail hell. Let me just adjust this. Toot, 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 toot. There we go. I adjusted the music just a little bit. Now, welcome to Chill Reading, Retail Horror Stories. You can tell I reset the mood because this is where the timestamp for the end of the Hangout session will be. Just a little meta comment for the people that are watching the VOD instead of being live on stream. VOD watchers are also valid, by the way. Anyway, never mind that. We are going to be reading out stories from r/Tales from Retail and r/Retail Hell. They're going to be a combination between scary stories and just horrible retail hell stories of like shitty customers and like bad times working at retail. I will tell everyone that is currently on chat, if you have a suggestion for me of like any story you would like me to read out, please go to Reddit. I know, hard ask already. Please go to Reddit and search up whatever stories you want me to read out. And after I'm done reading out the main ones that I've got prepared for you guys, I will be looking at chat and I will be reading out your own suggestions. All you gotta do, don't put a link, all you gotta do is just tell me the name of the Reddit post and I will search it out on my own and I will read it live for you guys. Cheesy says, hello me watching the VOD in advance. Hell yeah, Cheesy. I really appreciate the people that are using this to like, you know, just sleep or relax or just chill out. If you're one of the people that are using the chill reading playlist just like as background noise while you're doing something in the background, or for you to sleep to, like, thank you. Genuinely thank you. I think I also keep these streams like without monetization, just to make sure that no annoying ad will pop up in the middle of this. I need to check if that's the case though, I don't quite remember. Terry says, already got my art supplies ready for this. Hell yeah. Alright. We're gonna start with the first story from r/Tales from Retail. The first story of tonight is going to be I'm sorry, but we're closed. This happened to me the other day, and I'm still laughing because of how ridiculous the situation was. There was a power outage at my store that shut everything off, registers included. I told my co-worker to use a flashlight to make sure all the customers were out of our store while I stayed in front to stop people from coming in. My co-worker came back after rounding up all the customers, so I closed our gate and started doing as much closing duties as I could, because our power most likely wouldn't have turned back on until after the store closed. As I'm making sure all the power switches were actually turned off, I hear a sound coming from the back of the store, and I asked my coworker if she was sure that there was no one else in the store. I walked around the store, going, "If anyone is still in the store, we are closed due to the fact that their power is off." No one ever responded back to me, so I just assumed that the store was empty. I go back to the front to finish up, but I still could not shake off the feeling that someone was in the store. My co-worker joked that it was actually our resident ghost that we dubbed as Walter, but as a scaredy cat, I did not want to listen. I made sure everything was locked before I headed to our back door. Ooh. As I'm walking back, I heard a small laugh, and I paused. I stared at my co-worker and I asked her, nearly in tears, if she laughed. Maybe she was laughing at the way I was limping, or how my hair bun was shaking every time I moved. Anything. I just wanted to know that it was her that laughed. She'd looked at me and thought that it was me. We didn't know what to do, because we're standing in a pitch black store. The only windows are way in the front of the store. Oh yeah, like most Walmarts actually. The only thing standing in between us and the mysterious laughter was an aisle of goddamn porcelain figures. Ooh. Walt is coming for you. She's pushing me towards the sound. I'm pushing her back. She's telling me that as the oldest, I should take one for the team and go towards the laugh. I'm telling her that if I'm going to die, I'm going to die on my own terms and not because of some little bitch-ass ghost named Walter. We both ended up walking towards the laugh as we're holding each other, and as we peeked our heads past the end of the aisle, it was nothing but an empty aisle. We laughed at each other and unclenched our buttholes and started walking towards our back door, ready to go home. As we turned the corner, we were met with the figure of a small, pale woman in front of us. Ooh. My co-worker screamed and shoved me towards a shelf as I what the fuck, that's rude. Shoved me towards a shelf as I started shouting expletives and I momentarily became religious. We are backing up in fear. I'm trying to grab something to fight the ghost, because what's a better weapon than a narwhal plushie? And the figure is walking towards us, probably asking us something, but we're too busy screaming to actually listen. We stopped for a split second and I grabbed my phone that I had dropped on the floor and shone the light onto the figure. Turns out it was a short white lady that we somehow had missed. She held up a card that was in her hand and asked us if we could do a price check. Just asking for the price of the item, of course. We're in a store, of course. We're in the middle of a nearly pitch black store. No one else was around. The store was in complete silence. Our usual music wasn't playing. The lady used her phone to shine the light on me, and we're standing there staring at each other. I was the first one to break the silence. I told her, Lady, do you normally shop in the dark? I asked. She responds with, No, but I didn't really want to complain. I just thought you turn off the lights to save energy. I'm not really sure what you millennials are doing anymore. I respond with, "Ma'am, we're closed. The power turned off. Did you not hear us announcing that the store was closed?" She said, "Yeah, I did hear that, but you closed at 9 p.m, so I thought I still had time to shop. Can I still buy this card?" "Ma'am, I'm sorry, but no. Our registers are shut off." She responds with, "So what does that mean for me?" "Ma'am, you can't buy the card." "Why not?" "On the account that our power shut down. Motions around the store. I'm not sure if it's obvious enough, lady." The lady ended up trying to argue with me for a bit, but I told her that even if I was nice enough to ring her up, I couldn't actually open up the register because I didn't have the keys. I redirected her to a big box store that was across the street for her card needs and walked her out. Honestly, I still don't even think she understood why I couldn't ring her up, but it's fine. She's their problem now. Oh no, lady. TLDR, our power shut off and I thought that there was a ghost in my store. I nearly shat my pants, but realized it was just a white lady my coworker and I somehow managed to miss. That was actually the perfect mix of like a retail horror story and like a retail nightmare story. Oh, the poor lady doesn't understand how stores work. She doesn't understand how, like, exchanging money for goods and services work. The poor lady. Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to read, actually. This is exactly what I wanted to see. The best top response to this post is by Kedello, who says, "I was once evacuating my store because it was on fire, and people still lined up to buy their books and the idiot cashiers were ringing them up." Oh, come on. Nobody knows what to do in case of emergencies. They just assume that the world works automatically. They think that we're in a video game and they can just do shit while things are on fire or like the power doesn't work. This is exactly how my grandma thinks. My grandma thinks that WhatsApp just works without internet because you open up the WhatsApp app and you can, like, you know, text people in it without anything because, like, it's the app, right? The app just magically works. It doesn't need internet, right? She doesn't know what internet is even for. Whatever. Okay, this was a nice, like, first, like, palate cleanser for what we're about to experience. Shady Art says, "You're a retail worker. What do you mean you don't have the captain's instinct of down with the ship?" Boo donates $10 and says, "I've shared this retail story a while ago, but I'll share it again. One night, during a closing shift at Walgreens, a woman had a miscarriage in the restroom and somehow left without any of us noticing." What? Oh! That's horrible! Christ! Hayden Sand says, "Imagine a FNAF location that's on fire for the 69th time and the customers are still eating pizza while the animatronics perform." Thank you, Catlington, for the 13 months. Beware of retail Pinar Sniper Guy. I don't know what that means. Anyways, let's continue with a shorter story. This was posted 3 months ago and says, "I have gazed into the eyes of a customer who brought 46 coupons and survived." The post says, "I have seen true darkness." Alright, Gaster. It came to my register in the form of a middle-aged customer clutching a wad of coupons thick enough to alter the Earth's gravitational field. At first, I was naive. They unloaded their cart, innocently enough, while keeping one hand firmly gripped on the stack. A silent promise that the real battle had yet to begin. Then they spoke. "I have some coupons." The air shifted, the lights flickered, a distant manager's walkie crackled ominously. I scanned the first one. The system hesitated. It was as if it knew what was coming. The processing slowed. The computer began to sweat. Coupon after coupon. The receipt stretched longer and longer, cascading over the counter like an ancient scroll detailing the fall of civilizations. Customers in line began to mourn their lost time. A child, once full of life, grew old before my very eyes. The register screamed in protest. "Exceeds coupon limit. Manager override required." The manager appeared from nowhere. They did not speak. They only nodded. They had been through this before. Minutes turned to hours. Reality blurred. I no longer knew who I was. Only that I was scanning. Always scanning. And then, at last it was done. The total, 37 cents. The customers smiled. They had won. They always win. As they walked away, receipt trailing behind them like a bridal train, I heard them whisper, "See you next week." I fell to my knees. What the fuck did they buy? What the fuck did they buy, though? Please tell. Very dramatic reading, by the way. You can tell that this guy made some Lord of the Rings fanfiction on AO3. But still, what the fuck did the guy buy? I am so curious what the hell the old guy bought. That he had so many coupons and ended up being 37 cents. I mean, at least it worked. At least it was like a valid coupon, you know? You know what that reminds me of? Actually, you know what? I'm gonna put on a retail hell story of my own to, like, go alongside this guy. Okay, so, you know, a couple of months back when, like, I was hanging out with Azazel at my place. Like, me, Azazel, and Nick were, like, out, like, in the Chilean streets, I guess I could say that. And we went to a bike shop because I wanted to buy a bike. I wanted to learn how to ride a bike because it was years and years and years ago that I was like a little child and my family just gave up on teaching me how to ride a bike. So now that I had like the ability to be my own person because like I live in my own place and like, you know, I'm a fucking adult, I thought, might as well learn how to ride a bike, you know? So I went to this bike shop, like, in downtown Santiago in Chile, with Azazel and Nick, and we just got a bike, like, one of the medium-end models, I think. We bought the bike, we bought the helmet, and we bought the bike lock, because in this city, like, oh my god, they will steal your bike in a second if you leave it unattended. Anyways, that doesn't really matter. So we had to go actually pay up for everything. They gave me like this little piece of paper, like with a code on it, and I had to go to the cashier register to be able to pay for everything that I needed for the bike, right? And in front of in the last place on the line was this lady, this old ass lady, like the stereotypical cartoon version of an old lady, like saggy skin, white hair, like very big like earrings, and like a very flowery like dress, and she was in front of her, like I didn't see it initially, she was like hunched over, like in the cashier register. And I don't know why, but they were taking a long time to talk to the person in the register. I was like, I wonder what's happening. Like, I was just talking to Azazel and Nick, like, while we were in line for this. And I was just waiting and waiting and waiting. And it was like 20 minutes. And then it was 30 minutes. And then it was 40 minutes. And I was like, what the fuck? What is up with this lady that is, like, just talking to the cashier for this amount of time? And then I look over, like, to the side of it, to the side of the lady. I try to, like, check up what's going on. Oh, Nick is on the chat. Hey, you can corroborate this story. And I see the front desk of the cashier. And it's just stack after stack after stack after stack. Stack of pennies. Like a literal, like, cube of pennies. Or at least the Chilean version of pennies, you know, like coins. Pennies and pennies of Chilean pennies. All lined up in like a giant metal cube that she used to pay for, like, a bike. I don't know why she wanted a bike. Probably for a grandson or something. And it was just this gigantic cube of pennies that it was so big, I don't even know how she managed to walk around with it to the store, but she saved up enough, and the cashier was painfully one by one. There were two people in like on the other side of the register, and they were painfully counting every single penny and saving it in like plastic containers, like one by one, trying to count them. Ultimate Nick says 10-cent coins more or less. Yes. It was painful to see. The best part about that story too is that while I was talking with Nick and Azazel in that shop, we didn't really know what was happening behind us, I joked around with them that the lady in front of us was one of those old ladies that paid with pennies, like the cartoon old ladies that paid with pennies. Because like that's like a common trope in like old cartoons. And turns out, no, yeah, I was fucking right. That is literally what she was doing. We literally found the cartoon old lady that slowly pays with pennies out of her purse. Nick, if you're still on chat, I'm not sure. Do you remember how much money she was paying with those pennies? I think it was around like $300, right? It was around like $100 to like $200, $300 more or less. But all of that in pennies. So it took legitimately like an hour to count them. Ultimate Nick says it was definitely above the $100 mark. Yes. So yeah, I don't really have anything else to the story, because like the lady just like paid and then got her receipt and then walked out of there like triumphantly. I just find it hilarious that those people really exist. And after like she left, like me and the cashier had a laugh about it, even though I know that they just experienced like fucking retail Vietnam in front of them. Glitch Crown says, stores do have the right to refuse service. They didn't have to do that. Yeah, but you know, we're in like a random Chilean store that sells bikes, Glitch Crown. I'm pretty sure that they welcome any kind of service, regardless of how much of a pain in the ass it is. Like, this isn't like a major retail chain like Walmart, you know? This is just a random bike store made by some guy, you know, like in a random like Chilean lot, you know? Like, they definitely want as many customers as possible, because it's not like many people are buying bikes nowadays anyway. Boo says, where are they gonna keep the $100 worth of coins though? Well, they're saved, they're strapped for change for their entire fucking existence as a business now, you know? If any customer goes and asks, like, "Excuse me, do you have some change for this?" The cashier's gonna look at them and say, "Oh boy, do I." "Oh, do I? I have all the change you need." If anything, the old lady did that business as a service, if you think about it. Anyways, I forgot to tell that story. I was gonna tell that story like a long time ago, but I kind of just forgot. I'm really happy that I remember now, though. It's very fitting for this kind of stream, actually. Grandma had a stand. Infinite coins of torture. Exactly. Speaking of torture, let's continue with our Reddit stories. Let's see. Alright. The next one was posted 10 years ago, and it's called Tales from the Knife Store. This scary little girl. So, preface. My first job was in a knife store in Los Angeles when I was 15. The owner was an old veteran from Chicago. I basically had run of the place provided I didn't do anything ordinarily stupid, or if I did, I cleaned up afterwards. The story is called This Scary Little Girl. I was doing inventory and stock checks one weekend morning when a friend of mine came in. He shared my passion for all things blunt and bladed, and I knew him well enough to trust him to walk around behind the counter and investigate items at his leisure. A customer came in, an almost irritatingly cute Asian girl, probably just shy of 5 feet. I started over to her with a traditional "How are ya?" greeting when my friend makes a beeline for her. This can pretty much only be entertaining, and I figure I can throw something at him if the situation gets out of control or he says something too stupid. My friend goes, "Hey, how can I help you?" The girl responds with, I don't know. I'm looking for something for protection. A friend of mine got mugged recently." Alright, makes sense. My friend proceeds to tell her about the various stun gun and pepper spray options. I keep an eye on them an extra minute to make sure he doesn't zap one of them or something. Then go back to checking inventory. I can hear him chatting her up a little, but I'm not really paying attention when he comes over to me. Ken, can you help me out here? This kinda didn't go the way I thought it would." Okay. I turn around, and the girl has a 600,000 volt stun baton, pepper spray, and a hand axe with an individual knuckle guard. Think smallish axe with brass knuckles for the handle. Ooh. Fully loaded, exactly, Shady. I respond with, "Hey, friend tells me that you have some questions." The girl responds with, "No, I think I'm getting these." Keep in mind, this girl is tiny. Like, the axe is longer than her forearm, and the stun baton isn't the usual subtle little device that most people like for protection. It's about 10 inches with an electricity arcing around it. Yo, that sounds badass! Doom music starts playing, exactly, on Autistic Monkey. I respond with, "Did I hear you say that you wanted this for protection? This is all a bit much for any day-to-day carry. Also, bladed weapons aren't good for self-defense unless you really know how to use them. Any weapon you don't know how to use belongs to your enemy." That's a really good line, actually. The girl responds with, "I just want to look scary. Do you think people will be afraid to come near me?" I respond with, well, yeah. You effectively scared off my friend, and I couldn't do that throwing knives at him. That axe isn't really street legal, though. The girl responds with, it's going next to my bed. I just shrugged, gave her a quick once-over on the laws and maintenance around the baton and pepper spray, and rang her out. My friend came over me after she left. I ask him, did you decide not to ask her out? She's cute, you can probably still catch her. My friend responds with, next to her bed. She's putting the axe next to her bed. Fuck no, I'm not gonna ask her out. The top comment on this post is, me thinks that the axe isn't for protection. Yeah, it's for violence, motherfucker. What do you think? Hey, Purple Max, thank you for the $5. Yeah, she's going 6 feet under. Damn. Also, apparently this guy has an entire series of tales from the knife store. There is an edit at the bottom of this page with a bunch of links to different posts of his. I like how this guy like writes stuff. Do you guys want to like read out more tales from the knife store as like an additional section to the stream? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Let's see. I'm gonna read out the titles of these posts, and you guys tell me what you're interested in. The titles for these posts are Pointing Fingers, Robot Pirates, Why Would You Say That?, Crystal Clear, Safe Words, It Never Rains, Ballistic Therapy, Behind the Scenes, Warning Shot, Control Freak, Backlash, Just a Flesh Wound, Fortune and a Dart Gun, The Rumble, and Bad Investments. Okay, so it seems like a lot of people are going, why would you say that? Neon the Cartoon is going Robot Pirates. Warning Shot, Why Would You Say That? And Robot Pirates. Alright. Opening up Robot Pirates. Why Would You Say That? Warning Shot. Alright. And I'm gonna open up Safe Words, because why not? Alright, we got a bunch of these to go through now. I really like how this guy writes, so this is gonna be good. Alright. We got another Tales from the Knife Store. This time, the story is called Robot Pirates. So, me and one of the guys that got hired during Trial by Combat were working an outdoor swap meet. Because we do that. It's an LA thing, I guess. We'd brought your standard collection of swords, knives, antiques, and weird crap that may or may not be vaguely related to any of that. We're doing our thing when up comes this bloke. He doesn't say anything. He's got himself a little cart. I say, "How are you?" as a means of a proximity alarm, and go back to helping other customers. He's looking around for about half an hour, which is a good trick in a 20 by 10 booth. The bloke says, "Can you help me?" I respond with, "Surely, what's up?" The person responds with, "I need a lot of swords and guns." Alright, we're starting with that. Here, I say, "That sentence just upgraded you to my new favorite person. So what do you need?" The guy responds with, "Are you familiar with Pirates of the Caribbean? I need a lot of stuff like that. Sabers, cutlass, flintlocks, maybe some weird looking daggers." Ah, one of those guys. Small productions. Pretty sure it's going to be the next big thing despite all the evidence to the contrary. Wow, this guy writes like a real Redditor. Holy shit. I respond with, yeah, that is completely a thing that can happen. How many are we talking about? He responds with, probably about 70 pieces in and all. And this is going to sound weird, but big, shiny, cartoon-looking stuff would be best. Yeah, right, that does sound weird, but we can do it. Can you come by our regular shop? What you see is what I got here, but we got a lot more there, though we'll still have to get a shipment in for an order that size. He said it was fine. I gave him the address and off he went. The shop was closed Mondays, so I didn't find out until Tuesday what had happened. The guy went to the store the same day we spoke, which is impressive since it was over an hour away at that point. Sure enough, he ordered 74 items, replica pistols and rifles, and a bunch of swords. They all needed to be antiqued, made to look old, and he wanted us to deliver them to his warehouse as soon as possible. He didn't quibble about the price and paid everything up front, cash. Okay. I won't go into excessive details, but it was a fun week. We had to visit a couple supply warehouses, which always makes me a little giddy. And then there was applying all the cosmetic changes to make the stuff look old and worn. We finally got to deliver the stuff, and I'm figuring which warehouse is some storage facility or something uninteresting like that. And holy shit, it's the Disney staging grounds for the theme parks. What? The guy responds with, oh yeah, didn't I tell you? This is for the Pirates of the Caribbean ride at Disneyland. We did some upgrading to match the movies and decided to replace the props. What the fuck? Oh! It's some guy at Disney! Now, I grew up in production houses. I'm no stranger to back lots, but I'd never seen anything like this. Incredibly complex animatronics in various stages of assembly, the machinery behind some of Disneyland's optical illusions, and a metric ton of other stuff. I might have started drooling a little, plus Jack Sparrow without a skin, his endoskeleton, so to speak. So that was neat. Oh my god! I wondered while the boss and the Disney crew looked over everything, even chatted with a few of the engineers who were happy to discuss what they were working on. They went into an animatronic warehouse! Holy shit! When all was said and done, we were given a couple of passes to check out the ride when it was done. We did some work with the park once in a while, replaced the weapons used in the Peter Pan show at some point. Sadly, our contract, the bloke who had set up the initial deal, retired, and his replacement decided to deal import stuff from China instead of dealing with us. But it was fun while it lasted. Oh, that's so fucking cool though! Shady Art says, are they giving real guns to the animatronics? I mean, if you just buy a gun, that's just the real deal, right? Like, you don't need to find accurate replacements when you can just buy the real deal and just paint it to look cartoony. It's not loaded. Yeah, exactly, Meredith. That's so fucking cool! The guy thought that it was just an amateur production, but he went into an actual genuine-ass, like, Disneyland animatronic warehouse. That's so cool, man! God, I actually wish I could go to an animatronic warehouse and see all the cool stuff that they got inside. Hell yeah. Alright, I thought that was going to be funny, but it actually managed to be, like, super cool. The next story of Tales from the Knife Store is called, Why Would You Say That? Here's a brief collection of some of the weird and unsettling conversations I've had with customers in the store. One of them says, this will be perfect in my dungeon. I get that a lot, probably about 3 times a month. Men and women both. They frequently tried to elaborate past that, and I had to tell them that I didn't really need that information. Next one is, I need something that can cut clothes easily. Maybe skin too. He clarified that he was an EMT when I pulled a hatchet, though he needed to show his certification card before I let him touch anything in the shop. A guy was looking at a decorative axe. So could you, like, cut off a person's head with this? This didn't get better. I threw him out at spear point. A woman to her young son. I bet you'd finish homework if I had something like that. The kid just looked sad. I had to decline it to show it to her. Then she got angry and said that I couldn't take a joke. A guy came in and, in course of just talking, asked me if I ever get cut here. I respond with, sure, we get stuck now and again. Occupational hazard. Half this stuff is so sharp though that we don't even notice until it starts to heal. He says, no, that won't work. I've got to feel it. And with that he left, which is fine. I'm showing someone around the antiques, I say. And this is a furba. It's a ritual dagger. This, someone says, like for sacrifices? I say, no, it's a Buddhist item. They say sadly, aww. But do you have anything that's killed anybody? We did have a fair number of antique weapons, so that was a possibility sometimes. Occasionally they were just being smug jerks with the question, assuming a no. But there were sometimes the people that only wanted something if it had drawn blood. Alright. Next story of Tales from the Knife Store is called Warning Shot. Two guys come in wearing baggy clothes, hats on and hoods up over the hats. I'm sure they were the toughest young hooligans in their suburban cul-de-sac. Immediately, one guy comes over and starts talking to me, while the other is looking around. The one I'm with is asking about swords on the wall, stuff at the bottom of the display cabinets, whatever gets my attention off of the main floor. Apparently, most of their marks don't have peripheral vision or something. I never let the other guy out of my sight. Finally, the other guy makes his move and tried to reach over the counter to grab one of the custom pieces. Unfortunately for him, the distraction had been asking me about a blade with a knife on the sheet. Soon as I see him move, out comes that knife, whizzing past his head to stick in the wall. Oh, he's saying about how cool he is, about how, like, he threatened, like, two guys that were trying to rob him. I don't really like these stories, honestly. They just make the guy look overly cool, which is, like, can get very exaggerated with, like, Reddit stories. Yeah, this guy tries to, like, throw a knife at them as, like, a warning shot. Ah, never mind. I don't really like these stories. You know what? Yeah, let's skip right on over. I don't like the stories that make the writer feel very cool, because you can just about feel that the guy is, like, almost jerking himself off about how cool he is, and, like, oh my god, I'm so snarky and, like, relatable and, like, sociable, and, like, I always respond with, like, the perfect joke, like the perfect MCU comment. Yeah, lame, fuck that shit. That was enough from Tales from the Knife Store. Thank you. No thank you. Let's see what other stories we can get from this. I'm looking around for... Oh, what's your worst bathroom horror story? Oh, that can get disgusting. We were talking about bathroom horror stories at the beginning of the stream. Sergeant Gamer says, and then everyone laughed, and the president was there and won $1 million type of person. Yeah, that's the kind of story that I found incredibly lame. I like it when the stories are, like, ridiculous, but the guy doesn't make himself out to be the hero or stuff like that, you know? Alright, so, What's your worst bathroom horror story? This happened to me back when I was in college, in a big college town, with tons of drunk college kids. I was working at a sandwich place. That night, I was working in the kitchen along with my girlfriend at the time, and there was a third person at the front counter. Two guys come in, and they're a little drunk and have the munchies. They order some sandwiches to go. While they're waiting on them, one of them heads into the bathroom. Oh. He comes out a few minutes later, right as the sandwiches are done, and they both leave. About 15 minutes later, my girlfriend is sweeping the place while I'm in the kitchen. I see a customer head into the restroom, and 10 seconds later, my girlfriend walks into the kitchen. Hey, this guy says that there's something wrong in the bathroom. I don't think much of it and go out of the kitchen and towards the men's room. The customer is standing outside the door, and right before I open it, he says, "I hope you have a cross." In my mind, I'm thinking, what, is Dracula in there? Nope, it was worse. One of the drunk guys had the beer shits. Oh, disgusting. There was liquid. Oh, ew. All over the toilet, the floor, the walls. The bowl was full of toilet paper. The hand soap container, had splattered with such force that everything was just above eye level. Ugh. I told the two girls working that I wouldn't be doing anything else but cleaning that night, and that the place was theirs. I put out an order sign on the door, then went in there wearing the following: 2 old crew shirts that were supposed to be thrown out, 2 pairs of our sandwich-making gloves, and 2 pairs of rubber dish-washing gloves, a sanitizing rag, soaked in soapy dish water tied over my face, and a dry sanitizing rag tied over my hair. This guy basically made a hazmat suit out of kitchen supplies. That's awesome. I went through an entire bottle of bleach cleaner and 2 rolls of toilet paper towels, and afterwards, you wouldn't have known the horror that was in there 2 hours prior. Jesus Christ. Yeah, that's enough of bathroom horror stories, thank you. That's enough. Glitch Crown says, I'd rather be fired. Yeah, but you gotta admit the guy was kind of badass by making like a homemade, like Iron Man fucking hazmat suit just for the occasion. That's pretty badass, actually. Alright. This one is a scary experience. So, Tales from Retail. Scary experience. Made by a deleted user, so I have no idea who wrote this. I have worked some pretty daunting jobs in my past. I managed 2 pawnbroker stores, which would be terrifying for some people. I have worked in wrecking yards and managed the sales side of them, where people have gone absolutely ballistic. I've worked as a DJ in nightclubs, but this instance is the only time I have actually been scared for my life at work. I managed a service station which was part of a large motorbike shop. The service station was open 7 days, 6/6, and the bike shop closed about 12 on Saturday. It wasn't unusual for guys to come in Saturday and Sunday and ask for bike bits, and it was usually prearranged. Or, if I know what they needed, I would go get it, or occasionally let them go and get the bits they needed. The service station had a small shop, in between the bike shop sales section, where all the new bikes and parts and accessories were kept, and on the other side was the service section, where new bikes were serviced and old bikes that were trade-ins or in for repairs were kept. The 3 buildings were connected, but they each had a separate front. The service section had 3 roller doors, but the first roller door I used to have a key to, as I would put my oil, batteries, and other service station related stuff in that area. So after the bike shop closed, I would close that roller door, so no one could sneak in and steal anything. Anyway, one lazy Sunday afternoon, I was bumming around in the shop watching the minutes tick on by when a motorbike pulls up. It was a kid's bike, almost brand new, a Honda XR75, fairly small trail bike with a large adult male riding it. He steps off the bike, absolutely high as a kite, and comes into the service station and asks for the owner. One guy owned the whole thing. I respond with, "Sorry mate, he's away racing, I can't get in touch with him." "Okay, well, I have this bike out here. It's too small for me. I want a bigger one. Open up the roller door and let me grab a trade-in and we can swap." Now, this guy was taller than me and fairly built. He was off his head and something, I don't know what, and pacing around and chewing his teeth the whole time. I was pretty nervous here, but fortunately the roller door was closed, and the back door and side door was shut, too, so I figured that I'd just say it was all locked and I couldn't get in there. That kinda worked, but the guy insisted. I went through and opened the roller door. I'm now outside of the shop. I figure go outside so 1, people driving past might see a disturbance and call police, and 2, get him out of the shop so he doesn't notice the other doors and start trying to get in. He's threatening to bash me if I don't open the door right now, and I tell him again that it's locked. I can't get in. I don't have keys, and how do I know what bike is what? There's new bikes, old bikes, etc. Plus, there is an alarm there, so if I go in there, it goes off and the police come. That sort of startled him, and he approached me and said that if I called the police, he would fucking kill me, and pulled out a knife. Yup, I'm shitting bricks right now. Okay, so I stay calm and get him out of here. I kept telling him to come back Monday when they're open, and that I can't really do anything. Keys are locked away. Bike keys are in the safe. They're all padlocked to the benches. Mechanics have the keys. Anything I can think of to get him to go away. After 15 minutes of threatening and shaking the roller door trying to open it to get me, he threatens me saying I'm on probation, and he would check in and see me every week for 3 years to make sure I'm not still being smart, and if I am, he will bash me. What the fuck? At this point, I want him out, so I just nod to his threats and he starts the bike, then says that he will be back in 1 hour to get a new bike from me any way he can, and he will make a complaint to the owner, who he knows very well. Okay. He leaves. Sigh of relief, and 5 minutes later I'm composed enough to be able to call the police. I give them as much info as possible, describe the bike, his clothes, his face, scars, tattoos, everything, and they say that they will send the car. I decide that this is a bad idea as he may be watching, so as my car was parked a distance from work, I close the shop and attend the police station in person. Strange, but alright, why not just call them over to protect you in the store itself, dude? What the fuck? I enter the police station and explain what just happened, still pretty shaken up, and the officer asks me what the bike's number plate was. I explain that it's a kid's trail bike and it's not registered, so there is no number plates on it. He says point blank that if it doesn't have number plates, what is he supposed to do? Oh god, don't say that. Now, I had the year, make, and model of the bike. It was my suspicion that it was stolen, and I was trying to report that, and the threats, etc. If the owner of the bike had phoned to report it stolen, they would have said that it was a red Honda XR blah 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 blah. Motorcycle sticker on the front, blah 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 blah. The policeman was just not interested. Couldn't do anything. Didn't care about the threats, because he didn't touch me at all. And the threat with the knife was ignored. Basically, I just left the station feeling really bad as some kid had their bike stolen and I couldn't help get it back, and pissed off because the junkie scum that threatened me got off and the police did nothing to help. Haven't seen the guy since though. Hopefully he got some karma. Wow, fuck that police guy. Holy shit. The guy actually seemed to know a lot about the model of the bike. Couldn't you just like phone that in or write that down? The policeman didn't give a shit about what he wanted to do. Fuck! Yeah, everyone is saying how he should have asked for the manager. Man, fucking cops. I want to read some stories about like retail hell and I end up finding out how fucking useless cops are. Holy shit. Yeah, because they are not trained to respond to like potential danger. They're only trained to respond to the fallout of danger. Fucking assholes. Isan donates and says, had you or anyone read that one of u/concerned hubs? I have no idea what you're talking about, so let me look that up. Also, thank you Vorton Gaia for the $10. One time I went to the bathroom at work and when I flushed the toilet, I see a clearly used syringe, thankfully in the water. Surprised I didn't see it at first. Ooh, that's the junkie syringe. Ugh. Syringe just give me like... Used syringe specifically just give me like... Fucking... Ugh, makes my skin crawl. Alright, let's search up u/concerned hubs. What is the story? Posts. Need advised on talking to police regarding my wife. r/legal advice. Okay, so this is fucking, like, ridiculous. Because the post is removed. Like, it has been completely removed from r/legal advice. But the top comment in the post says, so, where'd you hide her body? Seriously, just from this fucked up post, I think you killed her. What does that mean? I want to see the post now. What does that mean? Hold on, can I do like removed Reddit? How can I want to read this post now. What does that mean? How can I read removed Reddit posts? Wayback Machine, probably. Wayback Machine. I want to see removed Reddit posts. How can I read removed Reddit posts? Shit. I am fucking Okay. Let's go back to... There's a archived version in 2015. Alright. Okay, now I'm, like, fascinated. Okay, it's a short one at least. What does it say? There's an old Reddit post. Need advice on talking to police regarding my wife. My wife has not returned home since she went out shopping late Saturday. It's getting to the point where I should call the police to file a missing persons report. I would like to be as helpful as possible when speaking to the police, but want to avoid triggering any suspicions about me. I hear a lot of stories about husbands being falsely accused when something happens. Should I only give them information in response to specific questions? Is there anything I should not bring up? I'm planning on contacting the police tomorrow morning. I can't postpone much longer as I'm getting messages asking about her, and I don't want to say anything to her friends or family until I file the report first. What the fuck, dude? I now realize that I should have talked to her friends and family first, but at this point, I don't want to explain why I didn't file a report yet. You're a fucking serial killer. What the fuck? What the fuck? Yeah, where do you hide the body? Where do you hide the body, dude? What the fuck? You definitely killed her. What the fuck? Can I read his comments? Oh my god, he's making so many comments about this. Oh my god, wait a minute. Wait. Mr. Shu says, did we just find James Sunderland's Reddit account? Least obvious criminal confession. Okay, this is interesting because the main post got removed, which means that he himself removed the post. But the comments are still left. I can read the comments. Okay, so the first update in this user is, well, now I'm totally freaking out. In addition to being concerned about my wife, I'm worried that this will snowball into something more than a missing wife case. It seems that the police can be overly suspicious in these situations. Dude. Least... Oh, dude, come on. Okay, let me read more of these comments. I was going to tell police that I waited because I didn't think that they'd do anything anyway until after 48 hours had passed. This is true, but I'm wondering if it will sound reasonable to the police. I plan on making it very clear to the police that my top priority is to get my wife back home safe. Yeah, sure, dude. Dude, I've never seen Gone Girl and I'm not trolling. What have I said that it's irrational? I just want to avoid the situation from developing into more than it has to be. By overly suspicious, I mean that the husband is automatically the first person to be suspected, even when there's no reason other than being her husband. This can easily lead to the police barking up the wrong tree and not looking where they should be. Oh, where should they be looking then? What? That's one of the reasons to avoid triggering suspicion. You said the words triggering suspicion. To prevent the police from wasting resources going down the wrong path. So it's not just a selfish matter of what would happen to me. It is not my main concern. My main concern is to get my wife back home safe. My concern about avoiding suspicion is a secondary concern. It's not unreasonable to both be concerned about getting my wife home safe and secondarily about avoiding being falsely accused. There are a lot of innocent people who get convicted for acting stupid and saying the wrong thing to the police. Who are you to judge what a normal person would be thinking in a stressful and scary situation? I am very worried about my wife, and am overwhelmingly distraught about where she might be. However, I did not start this thread to share my emotional turmoil about my wife. I started specifically to ask for advice on dealing with the police in the matter. That's fine if you want to accuse me of making this up, but you're crossing the line with accusing me of harming my wife. Fuck. Update. I got banned from r/legal advice because some idiot pretending to be my sister-in-law created u/concernsis9 and a post about her sister being missing. Since this idiot created an account with a similar name to my username, the moderators apparently assumed our accounts were related. Anyway, as I reported in the last update, the phone call from my wife's best friend to my wife's family did not go over well. I got some nasty phone messages from my father-in-law and sister-in-law shortly after she called them, and they said that they'll be calling the police immediately. Since I wasn't in the right mindset to deal with the police today, I decided to stay in a hotel the next town over tonight. By late afternoon, I finally reconnected with my wife's friend. It turns out that my wife's family started acting suspicious towards my wife's friend. Turns out that the bitch sister-in-law had previously made accusations against me and is now making bullshit claims about my wife's friend. This sister-in-law has had it in for me since a few days before the wedding and is constantly bitter about not being able to influence her sister like she could before. If it wasn't for my piece of shit in-laws, I probably would have called the police much earlier. It's partly because of the false accusations and meddling by them that I was concerned about potential suspicions in the first place. So at this point we're just holed up in a hotel room for the night and I will decide what to do tomorrow morning. Dude. This is literally just the starting plot to Silent Hill 2. This is just literally... I'm sorry, I'm just imagining, like, James saying this on his phone while overlooking the entrance to Silent Hill. While his wife's, like, corpse is, like, at the back of the car, you know? Legal advice. Turn yourself in, motherfucker. Isan says, guess what? One of his last updates said that he found a note of her wife saying apparently that she would leave town to pass time with a friend. What the fuck? She left a note for him? Hold on. Don't spoil anymore. I need to read this. Update. I have not skipped town, and I'm not on the run or in hiding. I'm extremely distraught and stressed and angry right now, which is obviously not the right frame of mind to be in if the police or my in-laws had decided to stop by. As far as I'm concerned, my wife is fine based on the note that I found, so there's no reason to skip town. What the fuck? So, after people called you out on being a serial killer, you just happened to find a note from your wife saying that she'll be in a different town? Sorry, I'm just a bit sensitive right now and was mistakenly thinking you were being accusatory also. I can see where you were curious from my sloppy writing. The last update this guy ever made was, I'll be updating soon. Today's been both exhausting and enlightening. One thing I've learned today is that the local cops are quite the idiots. Dude. What is it? What does that letter say? In my restless dreams, I see that town. Why would you say that? Also, that's the last update, by the way. He did not say anything else. So I can just about imagine that he went to, like, the bathroom to look at himself in the mirror, and then he gained amnesia, and then he started Silent Hill 2. Either that or he got arrested. One of the two. He probably got arrested, gotta be honest. Jesus Christ. Alright, that was a pretty good post. It didn't have anything to do with Retail Hell stories, though. In fact, I'm gonna, like, bring up the suggestion box, like, immediately right now. if there is anything that you guys would like me to read out for you related to retail or retail hell, please tell me the title of the post on the comments on the chat, and I will be reading it out. Ultimate Nick says, which ending did he get? Considering the Reddit post, I'm pretty sure that was the Maria ending. Gotta be honest. It has to be the Maria ending. I don't think that guy cared much for his wife. Alright. So, Skello suggests, that time I accidentally took a whole convenience store hostage. That sounds fucking stupid. So let me try that out. The next story will be, that time I accidentally took a whole convenience store hostage. Good afternoon. I'm a long-time lurker, first-time poster. You know the drill, right? This is the most exciting retail story I've got. This was back in, I want to say 2005, before the proliferation of smartphones, etc. It's about the time I worked at a gas station / convenience store for one whole day and ended up as a manager and a district manager's worst nightmare. I'd taken the job not 2 days before and was told to show up at 7 AM on a Monday for training. No big deal, right? The manager, TM, certainly seemed stable enough at the time, but I suppose that's what they say about all the crazies. So, I show up at 7 AM, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and ready to get to work. I'm immediately introduced to the young lady who's been tasked with training me by manager. Manager spends the first 20 minutes of my shift not training me, but just ranting and rambling about how she just worked a double graveyard shift and how she's bushed and how this place just sucks her dry. You get the idea. Then she reiterates that young lady is going to be with me all day, training me step by step, and is then gone in a puff of smoke. Gone home to get some much-deserved sleep. Leaves her home number on a scrap of paper behind the counter, in case of emergencies only. Sensible enough. So, we get down to business. Young lady shocked that I'm already somewhat register and computer literate, and so takes the opportunity to abandon me in the back room, doing a few hours of computer training that I gather is supposed to encompass the entirety of my day. When I finish my computer training, I step out into the main store area to be relieved of duty. Young lady instead informs me that we're going to do some hands-on training. Weird, but fine, I guess. I mean, I'm not going to scoff at extra hours on my paycheck, so whatever. Let's do some hands-on work. The hands-on work goes on for about an hour and a half, bringing my day to about 4.5 hours at this point, until young lady pulls me aside and announces, with beaming, shit-eating grin on her face, "You know what? I think fuck this place." Fuck this place? Young lady replies with, "Yeah, man, fuck it. It's bullshit anyway. Fuck everything. I quit." What? You mean like in 2 weeks? No, yeah, no, like, I mean like right now. What? And with that, young lady tears off her schmuck, lights a cigarette, and walks out of the joint, leaving me to mind the store alone. I don't know how to do cash drops. I don't know how to do most of this shit. I've been here for 4 hours tops. You gotta be kidding me. Young lady locks the door to the back room, shoves the key underneath the door, and is now gone forever. So, like the nice young man that I am, I called the manager's emergency number. The phone rings and rings and rings for maybe like 2 minutes straight before she finally answers, mid-snore, with a befuddled, "Who's that?" I promptly explain the situation to her, and I tell her that I need help. She tells me to hold on tight, and that she's going to call the assistant manager to come and help. You know where this is going. Assistant manager never comes. I'm waiting for another 2 hours, and assistant manager never shows up. I called the manager back. Same deal. 2 minutes of continuous ringing. She promises something else. Hangs up on me. We go through this process 4 more times over the course of 2 more hours, when the next person on shift is due to show up anyway. He never shows up. Naturally, so I call the manager until she finally just takes her phone off the hook so I can't call her anymore. What the fuck? So this is part of the story where I start to freak out. I have no other numbers. I know no one else who works here. I am alone. No way to clock out. No way to hide. No way to lock the doors. Nothing. Just work. Only work. Forever and ever and ever. I can see that this is how I die. I'm sure of it. I'm in a really shitty, boring version of Final Destination. At this point, I feel the need to call out the dudes who ran the tattoo shop across the street. They've been coming in for cokes and energy drinks and such throughout the day, and had taken a keen interest in my well-being. They were pretty up on the situation, and kept me reasonably calm throughout the day. They noticed that I was starting to freak out, asked me what the situation was, and I explained. Just like that, these badasses jump into action. They bring me their phone book with all the numbers of the other stores in the area circled, and they go to the local taco cart and get me a plate of tacos and a Coke to keep my strength up. I'm not into dudes, but I considered asking one of those guys to marry me right then and there. Aww. Hey, bisexual people exist. Come on, man. Fueled by tacos and sheer, unadulterated panic, I start making calls. Other stores are shocked by what's happened. Apparently everyone fucking quit right then and there. But don't have anyone to spare, so they got no one. But one of them gives me the district manager's home number. Bingo. I explained the situation to him, and listened as he went from perfectly congenial to absolutely terrified. He then tells me, I'm coming down there to personally relieve you from your shift. But then he says the perfect combination of words to set me off. District manager says, but I'm gonna need about an hour and a half. Is that okay? That is my breaking point, and I begin to shout and shout. No, that is not alright. Either you get down here in half an hour, and I'm going to open the cash registers, the safe, turn the gas pumps on unlimited run, and go home. Is that what you want? Free gas and free money for everyone who comes into the store until there's no more money. Is that what you want? District manager says, I'll be there in 20 minutes. I now see what has happened. I have officially been taken hostage by the store, and have taken it hostage in return. I am now the crazy person in this situation. I'm the bad guy. I'm the one making demands now. But you know what? He got there in 15 minutes flat. And you know what? He was very nice. All said and told, he apologized to me profusely, even helped me actually kick in the locked back room door so I could clock out all properly, like at 10:30 p.m. Finally. But then, the manager, in her pajamas, eyes bloodshot and wild, murderous and back from the dead like the last bad guy in Die Hard, comes storming into the store, screaming at the district manager, who had apparently gotten her to answer her phone during his trip over. TM says, "District manager, how fucking dare you tell me how to run my store? I swear to fuck, you've been telling me what to do for too long, and I'm telling you for the last time." District manager turns to me as the manager is shrieking, and he says something that made me start laughing like a psychotic. He says, "Go home, kid. I've got this." Shit, you don't have to tell me twice, amigo. I'm gone. When I get to the door finally, he calls me and says, "I really hope this doesn't affect your future with the company." And I never went back. Holy shit! Everyone fucking quit. Everyone quit. Everyone quit. Holy shit. Yeah, no wonder they needed new hires. Everyone fucking quit that day. I mean, that was probably not exactly what happened, but still, that is fucking hilarious. Imagine being stuck as the only person running a store for 24 hours. Almost 24 hours? Like 12 hour? It was probably like a 12-hour shift. Shady Art said, "Was there a strike or something?" No, I think that person was just terribly unlucky and everyone else was at their breaking point. Fuck. Dual Blade said, "How did everyone quit?" They just left. They just fucking left. I mean, if I was personally in that situation, I would have just left when my time was up. You know? Like, fuck them. This guy must have pissed off a witch to have that bad kind of luck. Alright. Where else should we continue? Anybody else have any other suggestions? That was a good story, by the way. Thank you, Skello. Do we have any other suggestions for our next story? Fartface says, r/Tales from Retail. I sabotaged your truck, so you owe me money. That's an interesting one. Alright. Let's take that one. I sabotaged your truck, so you owe me money. Alright. This was posted 7 years ago. I sabotaged your truck, so you owe me money. That title doesn't begin to summarize the insanity I'm about to detail. The twists and turns here are innumerable, all thanks to a very special customer. In fact, I think I'd give him a name. He's earned it. Let's call him... I don't like the name that he named him. I'm gonna call him Bob. That's a better name than this. This is at a popular truck and trailer rental place. You know the one. Bob rents out our biggest truck. Says he's going to need it for 3 days. Awkward because this truck was in high demand at the time, but he insisted and we shuffled things around to make it happen. Got super clear about the return time. Okay, drive safe. Except Bob wants to leave his car on our lot for 3 days. Dude, we fill up constantly and tell people to park across the streets, so if you could just move it. And he leaves it in our lot, uncomfortably close to the side door too, so that we spend the next several days having to squeeze by his bumper. Fine, whatever. 3 days later, Bob calls and my co-worker Andy answers. Andy's been given his 2 weeks notice for a laundry list of screw-ups, one of which cost us all a Christmas bonus. But he figured that if he did a really good job, he could get the manager to change her mind. So, Bob asks for an extra day. No problem, sir, Andy says. The family who reserved that truck for the afternoon are now screwed. Nice work, Andy. We figured out Andy's mistake when the family arrives and, after calling Bob and him flat out refusing to bring the truck back, "No, he said I could have it," we make some phone calls and find a cancelled reservation for a replacement truck. So at least that worked out. But we're looking forward to getting that truck back the next day. It's going nuts around here. Everybody wants a truck. Next day, Bob calls in again. He wants to extend the rental again because his friends didn't show up to help unload. Dude, come on. It's a 1-bedroom apartment. Most people take 6 hours to move. You've had 4 days, including that extra one. You're neither elderly nor infirm. Empty the fucking truck and get back here. He says, "But all my stuff is in there." I respond with, "So empty it, now." Bob says, "Okay, I'll try." No, seriously, it's officially late in an hour and it needs to be here then. There's no way to extend the contract, and keeping it longer is theft. Oh, okay, I'll bring it back. Does he drive it back? Of course not. In fact, things are just about to kick into high gear. A little while later, I hear my manager yell at Andy. Tell him to call roadside assistance. Andy's on the phone with you-know-who, Bob, who is claiming the truck won't start, and Andy was just about to extend the rental. Andy! Come on, dude. Luckily this time, he doesn't get the chance. Now, a truck not starting isn't unusual. People leave the headlights on by accident all the time. Easy to forget things like that with an unfamiliar vehicle. That's why we plaster the number for free roadside assistance all over everything. Bob, having agreed to give them a call, wants a storage unit for free for the inconvenience. Manager takes over and, smelling a rat, tells him to hold while she searches his name in our storage system. What do you know? Bob already has a storage unit with us and he's overdue. Huh. Well, you would have had the truck back days ago if I had a bigger unit to store all my stuff, he says. Huh? What does he mean by that? For some reason, we end up down this weird rabbit hole where he talks about how he intended to load up the truck and dump everything in a storage unit. Okay, I don't really care. Anyways, no deal, and we tell Bob to hurry up and call roadside assistance to get that truck back tonight. He argues that he doesn't want to, but he has no other ideas here. He just wants to keep that truck forever, apparently. Some arguing, raised voices, legal threats, fine. He will call. Oh, you think we're going to get that truck back now, right? Hang tight, kids. This part gets bumpy. See, when you call our roadside assistance, you get a dispatcher. The dispatcher sends out a tow truck. The tow truck driver calls the customer to arrange the specifics on time and place. Bob is suddenly not answering his phone. The tow truck driver calls us and asks for the alternative number. No answer there either. So we try calling, and texting, and emailing. No. Bob is suddenly completely unreachable. Around 24 hours later, it occurs to us that he has our numbers blocked. We try using our cell phones instead. Hello? My glorious manager unleashes her righteous fury when he answers. You will unblock our phone numbers right now and stop avoiding us. You will call roadside immediately and you will do whatever is asked of you to get this truck back. Now! Bob agrees, but not without some grumbling. Next call we get is from Roadside. They are losing their shit. The list of complaints includes: number 1, the truck is jammed between 2 buildings, and he's not sure how it is physically possible that Bob got in there. The sides are almost touching. Number 2, there's no conceivable reason he would have jammed it in there. It made loading/unloading the back impossible, and it's not like it was a hiding place. It just plain doesn't make any sense for him to have put the truck in there. Number 3, and he can't even get in the truck. The doors won't open. He can't figure out how Bob got out of the driver's seat once he parked it. Number 4, and the superintendent is screaming at the tow truck driver the whole time because he wants it out now. Apparently he's been fining Bob over $100 a day to get it out of there. Number 5, and the driver needed to leave to get a special winch to pull it out of there, which sent the superintendent into a total hysterical fit. Number 6, and when he got it out to the road and climbed in to try to start it, he saw that Bob had ripped the starter out of the engine and left it on the floor. What the fuck? As the layers of confusion and utter bafflement wash over us, we arrange for the truck to be towed to our lot, with the back facing the storage unit so it can be unloaded as soon as possible. Okay, we call Bob. Hey, so why the hell did you rip the starter out of our engine? Bob responds with, oh, that? Well, I figured I had to do that in order to get Roadside to come out. What? What? That doesn't make any fucking sense. Oh, also, I've had to take a lot of cabs to and from work. And? Well, I think I should be compensated. Why? Well, because the truck wasn't working. Setting aside the fact that you did that yourself, why didn't you just get your car from our lot? Oh, it doesn't work. We deny his request for days of cab fare. So now you're thinking, hey, at least it's all finally settled, right? Well, there's still several days of procrastination until he unloads his truck into the storage unit, and the massive repair bill, which also covers a big fresh gash along the top of the truck from scraping against the building. And one last fun thing. Andy's final contribution to this saga. Bob was allowed to move into the storage unit without the usual deposit. Thank you, Andy. And, while he has spoken on the phone with us about it, he's been carefully avoiding coming by while we're open to avoid making the fucking storage payment. So all his stuff is locked up until he pays. If we don't get a payment, it'll all go to an auction next month. Last time we saw him was on a security camera. See, we noticed his car was finally gone, so we checked the recording. At 1 AM, a van pulls up. Bob gets out of the passenger's seat, hops into the car, and drives off. The car suddenly works. It's like a Christmas miracle. Fuck you! Update. Thank you all for your kind words. I've posted about Andy before, so check my other story, and more about him will be coming tonight or tomorrow depending on how nuts things get. Update number 2. A co-worker just took a look at this and reminded me of 2 things. A. The truck had a tire with the air let out, and another with a bolt stuck in it. There's complicated towing with a drawbar and stretch the events out a bit. B. Bob had also disconnected both battery cables. These are pretty significant details and, on their own, would have been another story, but I swear to God, I completely forgot about them. Honestly, if I hadn't run into the tow truck driver the other day, I might have forgotten about this whole thing. There's probably a lesson in that somewhere. Meredith says, how did this man not get arrested? This is a story of people being too nice. Like, after the second extended day, I would have just called the police. Fuck, man. Hey Scarlet Rose, thank you for the $5. I got my Gamersubs package today. Tried it for the first time, and I gotta say, it's pretty tasty. Hell yeah, Scarlet! Thank you so much. I do gotta warn you though, caffeine can be pretty addictive, so if you bought a regular Gamersubs package, in the future, I recommend you get the caffeine-free options if you are not interested in like the energy boost. Because, you know, I want people to drink Gamersubs because they actually genuinely like the taste and not because they're addicted to it because of caffeine. So I recommend in the future, you and all the other people that have tried out Gamersubs try out the caffeine-free options. They taste like literally the same as the stuff with caffeine. They don't really keep you up because, you know, it doesn't have the caffeine, it doesn't have the drug. But the taste, if you're worried about the taste, if like you like the taste and that's the thing that matters to you, then please do get the caffeine-free options. Angry Destroyer says, we have Bob the Builder and now Bob the Wrecker. Fuck that guy. Also, a third update to the story. The guy did another story in the same universe. Andy's Final Fuck-Up. You wanna read about Andy? you wanna read the spin-off, the Andy spin-off to the story? Oh, Andy's gone. Alright, let's read up a little bit more on Andy. I need the spin-off. Alright, Andy's Final Fuck-Up. I've told a few stories about Andy here before. Please see my post history, but this will be the last. This is the story about how and why Andy was finally fired. Now, if you read my past stories about this guy, you know that his personality was unique, to put it mildly. He had a way of making customers go from happy to outraged, but that wasn't even half of the problem. Really, it was that he was so slow, the rest of us started measuring our own efficiency based on how many people we could help in the time that it took him to help one. My average score was 2.5 Andys. My buddy Brock only managed about 2.2 Andys. Suck it, noob. Jackie claims that she got 4.5 Andys once. None of us believed her. Oh, that's so mean. Poor Andy, man. But the real thing that put him on the look for an excuse to fire him list was his laziness. He avoided work at all costs, often wandering outside to check the trailers while there was a lineup out on the door. No clue what he was checking out there. At one point, he was in the back hitch bay just moving things around, not really doing anything in particular. Honestly, I kind of like Andy. I kind of respect the laziness there. He's working hard to not work at all. Yo, Andy, can you help me up on here? Andy responds with, well, we've got a hitch install coming in. Yeah, in an hour. Well, I figure I should get things ready. What? No, why? Get up here. His laziness got more and more blatant over time until he developed a habit of just standing at the end of the counter and ignoring the customers in line. Oh, Andy. Andy, what are you doing? Oh, I figured I'd just be here in case you needed me to run outside for anything. What? No! You can see the line. Go help a customer. Okay, let me just log in here. With that sucking between the teeth sound he always did. Suffice to say, we were all sick of his shit, but he had finally managed to squeeze by the 3-month mark so he couldn't be fired without a long series of documented disciplinary conversations. And our poor manager just never had the time to go through that because she had to pick up his slack all the time. Hooray for irony. But then, it happened. At the end of every day, we collect the cash deposits in a plastic bag, write the store name, date, and bank's name on it, and then pop it in the deposit box at the bank. Easy peasy. Oh no. We all take turns driving out there because it's just a bit annoying. You're driving to the bank, using the deposit box key and drop in the cash, and then going all the way back to the store to drop the key off in the mail slot before you can officially call it a night. Now, for the record, Andy was put through the same routine as the rest of us. He did a ride-along on a deposit twice, was shown the key to use to open the deposit box, and got the tediously detailed description about how to put the key in, give it a turn, open the drawer the whole way, put the deposit bag in, close it, and open it back up. So there's nothing complicated here. You followed that, right? Are you sure? Because Andy fucked it up. How? Oh, he found a way. See, on Andy's first solo deposit, he goes to the bank. Only he gets confused. Andy survives on a strict diet of cupcakes, candy bars, and cola, leaving him in a dopey, brain-starved carb stupor by the end of the day. So he's driving out to the deposit and asks himself, which bank do we use again? Does he ask someone? No. Why would he do that? He has all of our phone numbers on his phone, including the manager's. But this is hardly the appropriate time to call. So Andy goes to a bank he figures is probably the right one. He finds the deposit box, jams the key in with some effort, and it doesn't turn. Crazy. I wonder if that means... No, I'm sure it's nothing. He then pulls the handle to the drawer. It opens just barely enough to see inside. Unable to open it all the way, he jams the fucking bag in there, never noticing the correct bank's name written in a large block letters on the outside of the bag. The letters he wrote there himself. Okay, that's done. Now is the appropriate time to call the manager. I think I might have put the deposit in the wrong bank. Are you serious? She calls the bank the next morning, but by the time that branch opened, the Armored Card Service had already picked up the deposits. It will be 6 weeks before the deposit bag will be transferred to the correct counting house. Which means the store's numbers are off by just enough that the error disqualifies the entire place from a Christmas bonus. Our manager is fucking livid. Her boss is fucking livid. We're all fucking livid. Word comes down from on high that the man is to be fired immediately. Nobody objects. Well, except Andy. He doesn't see what the big deal is. Farewell, Andy. Here's hoping that you get that parking lot security job you were eyeing up. Fuck you, and how Andy ruined Christmas. Oh, fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. You fucking lazy piece of shit. Hey, do we want to read some more, like, Andy stories? I kind of want to read some more Andy stories, actually. The poster said that, like, he had some more Andy stories, like, up on file. Alright, hold on. I'm gonna search this poster's history, and then I'm gonna search up the keyword Andy. How many Andy